Okay, so you're here because you want to get to the heart of things, right? To really understand complex ideas, cut through all the noise, but without feeling like you need a PhD just to keep up.
Yeah, totally. Information overload is real.
Exactly. And that's what we do here on The Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something pretty universal, the idea of letting go.
And we've pulled together some really diverse stuff for this. We've got personal reflections on belonging, some really insightful quotes, YouTube clips talking about focus and finding freedom, even a Reddit thread trying to track down a song about not giving up.
Oh, interesting.
And a Stone Sour music video transcript, too, which touches on devotion, overcoming the past. It's quite a mix.
It really is. So our mission today is to kind of weave all that together, pull out the key insights on letting go.
Yeah.
You know, what it really means, why it's often so hard.
We're aiming for those actionable nuggets, those aha moments, maybe even connect some dots you weren't expecting.
Okay, let's jump in. One of the first things that really jumps out from the sources is this sheer exhaustion. The exhaustion that comes from constantly trying to fit in where you don't belong.
Yeah, that Tiny Buddha article has this incredibly raw, personal story. The author talks about coming back after 6 years in a convent.
6 years? Wow.
Yeah, and feeling like a complete stranger in her own life. You know, outwardly, she looked like a regular adult woman, but inside, nothing felt right. That huge gap between the outside and the inside.
That really resonates. And she details those behaviors, the things we sort of absorb almost to try to blend in. Like using other people's things to feel connected, changing herself based on what she thought guys wanted, even drinking just to feel socially accepted.
And the outcome. Well, she puts it pretty bluntly. Acting how I thought I had to be only left me cheated and mistreated, with no friends and way too many hangovers. Ouch.
Yeah, that's brutally honest, isn't it?
It really is. And it reminds me of that line from the You'll Finally Feel Free YouTube video about performing roles we didn't choose. Right.
It makes you think of Sartre. You know, his concept of bad faith, like constantly telling yourself you must be this super ambitious career person, even when deep down you're craving something totally different.
So you're denying your own truth just to meet some external script.
Exactly. That's bad faith right there. And it's exhausting.
Definitely. And a Tiny Buddha author touches on that conflict, right? That fear she had about rocking the boat by finally admitting she'd been in a convent. She'd hidden it out of shame.
It's that vulnerability, isn't it? She'd built this whole persona.
Yeah.
And the thought of letting people see the reality, it was terrifying for her.
I bet.
But when she finally did it, what happened wasn't total disaster. Sure, some people drifted away, maybe the ones who liked the facade, but the real ones, the ones who valued her, they stayed. And the biggest outcome was internal. She finally felt okay in her own skin, at home with herself.
That's huge, that breakthrough moment. And it ties right back to that whisper idea from the other video.
Yeah, the you'll finally feel free one. The true self buried under all those expectations.
Yeah.
It takes guts to actually listen to that whisper, doesn't it? To risk disrupting things.
It really does. And well, it leads you to question whose life you're actually living. Are you building your dream or someone else's?
Like the Tiny Buddha author's job journey. Right. Executive assistant, biologist, music teacher.
Right. Trying all these things mainly for the money, feeling unfulfilled, until she finally leaned into what she actually loved, writing, inspiring.
And that line, oh man, fitting in makes you an expert at doing what other people want. That just nails it.
It really does. It's that feeling of being stuck, chasing a version of success that just isn't yours.
Totally. And the You'll Finally Feel Free video calls it the invisible checklist.
And shifting expectations, that sense that you tick one box, achieve something.
And there's immediately another one waiting. The goalposts just keep moving.
Always. It's this constant pressure. You never quite arrive.
It's draining just talking about it. And that video makes such a critical point. You have to learn to tell the difference between what genuinely comes from you, from your soul.
And what's just been loaded onto your shoulders by society, by culture.
Yeah, that's like a lifelong process, figuring that out.
It is. And part of that involves letting go of needing everyone to like you, especially those cool people the Tiny Buddha author mentions.
Oh, yes, the cool kids table.
She talks about trying so hard to get their approval, but it was always conditional. Like she was only valuable when she was being the pretty date or the sober driver.
So relatable. That need for validation from the in crowd. But then she found her real people, right?
Exactly. She calls them her people, folks who were insightful, accepted her completely, and actually wanted her to grow. No conditions attached.
That's the goal, is finding those connections.
It is. And she points out the cost of trying to please everyone, all the drama and neediness and negativity. It just sucks the life out of you.
True belonging isn't about quantity. It's about quality. Genuine connection.
Yeah. And this connects to the shadow self idea from the You'll Finally Feel Free video.
How so?
Well, the parts of ourselves we hide or push down to try and fit in, especially with those cool groups, those parts often hold real power. By denying them, we might actually be stopping ourselves from finding people who'd accept the whole us.
Ah, I see. So trying to be perfect for one group blocks connection with another, potentially better fitting group.
Precisely. And the Tiny Buddha author realized that constantly trying to please others meant she was losing herself. She called her younger self a crowd pleaser.
Been there.
But she learned that crucial lesson. Fitting in makes you lose yourself, crowd.
Simple but profound. You trade your authenticity for approval.
And the You'll Finally Feel Free video talks about reclaiming your inner authority, stopping the cycle of building your life just to get nods from other people.
It's about shifting your validation source from external to internal, recognizing your own worth.
Which brings us back to the Tiny Buddha author dealing with all those societal pressures after leaving the convent, marriage, kids, the whole checklist.
Right. She felt like she was in this race she never even signed up for. People constantly ask, so what's next?
But even while trying to keep up, she had this amazing realization. Her life, just as it was already full. She said, I already had the pride.
I love that. Such a powerful shift in perspective.
It is. And it exposes the trap of letting imaginary standards measure when you've arrived. Because, as she says, those standards are always shifting. You literally never get there.
It links back to that feeling of being weighed down, right? That weight mentioned in a couple of the videos.
Yeah, the you'll finally feel free and you're not tired ones. It's the burden of trying to live up to some idealized version of life that wasn't even yours to begin with.
And that striving, that constant effort is what leads to that deep soul level exhaustion. It's not just about needing sleep.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears slightly. Your focus is creating your life. Transcript brings in another angle on letting go. It's about releasing the need to control everything, to react to everything.
Oh, that's a big one. The power of where you put your focus.
Huge. The video points out how most people just let their focus get scattered, hijacked by stuff that honestly won't matter next week. They pour energy into things they can't possibly resolve.
And the result is just constant low-level anxiety, right? No peace.
Precisely. So the idea is to actively reclaim your mind. Consciously choose to focus on what builds you up, what aligns with your values, your goals. Let go of the distractions. Let go of trying to micromanage outcomes.
It's like mental decluttering.
Kind of, yeah. Which ties beautifully into the main theme of the You'll Finally Feel Free video, finding real freedom by letting go of what society told you life should be. Stop chasing external validation.
It sounds so simple, but it's so hard in practice.
It is, but the video connects it to ancient wisdom, like the Katha Upanishad. The idea that true fulfillment, even immortality, comes not from getting more, but from releasing desires, letting go of attachments.
And Krishnamurti's idea, just burn the list.
Yeah, pretty radical. Not just editing the checklist, but ditching the whole concept of living by one.
Wow.
Because when you get off that autopilot of trying to meet external criteria, that's when your authentic self can actually start to surface. But like the video says, that inner voice, it can be really quiet.
Easily drowned out.
Totally. So letting go creates the quiet space needed to actually hear it.
It's about emotional unburdening then. Stopping the performance. Realizing your purpose isn't just about pleasing others.
Exactly that. Now, things get really interesting when we look at relationships through this lens. We have some contrasting views here.
Okay.
Well, there's the Stone Sour song, #3. The lyrics are all about intense devotion, loyalty, finding everything in one person. Did I save you because I know you saved me too? It suggests this really deep, almost symbiotic connection.
So in that context, letting go might actually mean fully committing, fully trusting, not holding back.
Right. Surrendering to the bond. But then you have the Reddit thread talking about that TSH song, It's Not Over Till It's Over.
Okay, different vibe.
Completely. The lyrics there are about someone desperately trying to change someone else's mind, refusing to give up on a relationship, even though it sounds pretty troubled.
Right.
Lines like, let me try to change your mind, and I'm making trouble for myself, but I don't know any better.
Yeah.
It's all about clinging on, resisting the letting go, even if it's painful.
So it really highlights that conflict. When is holding on devotion? And when is it unhealthy attachment? When do you fight and when do you release?
Exactly. It shows that letting go isn't one size fits all. Sometimes it is fierce loyalty and holding tight. Other times it's the incredibly difficult act of releasing something or someone for your own well-being. Context is everything.
What looks like letting go in one situation might be the opposite in another.
Precisely. Which brings us back to the You'll Finally Feel Free video and this idea that maybe a lot of our struggle is kind of optional, performative.
Explain that.
Well, it ties into that Meister Eckhart quote, God is not found in the soul by adding anything, but by a process of subtraction. Peace doesn't come from piling on more effort or achievements.
It comes from removing things.
Yeah, removing resistance, removing clinging, removing the need to pretend, less forcing, less grasping.
Finding that serenity beyond chaos, as the video puts it. Peace within the storm, not just after it passes.
It's that quiet strength that comes from less striving, more being. A deep knowing of who you are when you strip away all the unnecessary stuff.
That stillness, that space created by letting go of the non-essential, that's where the freedom.
Beautifully put.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the big takeaway seems to be that real progress, real freedom, often isn't about pushing harder or getting more. It's about the conscious choice to let go.
Yeah, letting go of those limiting beliefs, the weight of expectations, the constant need to perform for others.
And all our sources, there are different ways, point to this, right? It's about self-awareness, prioritizing your own desires, finding genuine connections, and knowing your inherent worth.
It's multifaceted, definitely. Not just one simple action.
Okay, so with all that swirling around, here's something to maybe chew on after this. Considering everything we've explored today, what's maybe one thing you could consciously choose to let go of, starting now?
Ooh, good question.
What could you release to make a bit more space for your authentic self, for more inner peace? Maybe it's time to take a hard look at your own invisible checklist and ask, whose list is it really?